When was the last time that you spent time or money on giving yourself some sort of a good experience? Chances are it wasn't that long ago. In fact, we do this multiple times a year. So if we all care about experiences in our personal lives, then what happened to the experience inside of our organizations? Whirlpool, like many organizations, has the challenge of being able to attract and retain top talent. In fact, the war for talent has never been more fierce than it is today. So what do we do? Well, Whirlpool took a couple unique approaches. First, they completely redesigned all of their offices to focus more on this collaborative aspect. They spent tens and millions of dollars to create spaces where employees actually feel a sense of pride and enjoyment where they show up. The second thing that they did is focus on culture. They abolished all managerial titles within the organization in favor of 4 leadership categories: a leader of self, a leader of team, a leader of function, and a leader of enterprise. What this did is really flatten the organization and enable communication and collaboration to become a little bit easier. The third thing that Whirlpool did is focus on creating technology that employees would actually use in their personal lives. They moved away from a legacy technology platform to using Google. Now, it's no secret, Google is something a lot of us use in our personal lives, and Whirlpool knew that. And so they enabled employees to use something so good in their personal lives, they would actually be willing to use it at work. As a result, Whirlpool has continuously been able to attract and retain top talent. They've continuously been able to outperform the competition, and they have continuously been able to improve the way that they innovate. That is why an organization that focuses on refrigerators, toasters, and appliances is dominating when it comes to the future of work. There are a couple things that we can take away from this Whirlpool example. The first is something that I like to call the employee experience equation. In today's world of work, designing employee experience is all about focusing on 3 key areas: the physical space, the cultural space, and the technological space. The physical space is the one that we actually show up to every day. It is the one that you can see and touch and taste and breathe in. It is the open floor plan or the cubicles that you might have. It is the food that your organization serves. It could even be the dogs that are allowed to show up at work. So a couple questions that you can ask yourself around designing a physical space. Number 1, do you offer multiple ways of working for your employees? Remember, this isn't just about a closed floor plan versus an open floor plan. This is about multiple floor plans that enable employees to work the way they want to work to get their job done. The second question you can ask: does your physical space actually energize and give employees creative freedom to actually want to do their jobs? And the third and final question you can ask is, does the physical space reflect the values of the organization? In other words, if you were to take the values of your company and design them into something physical, is that what your space truly looks like? The technological environment refers to the tools that employees actually use to get their jobs done. This could be the computer, this could be the phone, the devices, the software, the apps. All of these things make the technological environment inside of your organization. To determine if your technological environment is moving in the right direction, there are a couple of questions that you can ask. Number 1, is your technology consumer grade? In other words, is the technology that you're offering employees so good, so modern, so beautiful that employees would actually consider using it in their personal lives? Question number 2, is the technology available to everybody inside of your organization? Or is it just available to a small private group? The third environment is the cultural environment. The cultural environment doesn't refer to the space that you can see or touch or taste or breathe in. The cultural environment is all about the one that you feel. This is oftentimes where we hear organizations talk about creating a sense of purpose. The 3 questions you can ask to determine if you have a great cultural environment are as follows. Number 1, do employees feel a sense of purpose? That one, still in there, still important. Number 2, do employees feel a sense of worth? And question number 3, do your employees feel like they are being treated fairly? If you answer yes to all 3 of those questions, then congratulations. Chances are your organization has a great cultural environment. The second thing is to actually have somebody that is responsible for designing employee experiences. At Airbnb, for example, they don't have a chief human resource officer. Instead, they have a chief employee experience officer, somebody whose purpose and whose function is focused on designing and creating experiences where employees actually want to show up to work. By focusing on creating this employee experience, and by having somebody whose role it is to focus on creating that employee experience, I think we can all create organizations where we can attract and retain the best talent.